CFA Nation? Gabe.
Nick, I'm not sure what I'm doing right here, but I'm doing something. What is happening, everybody?
Oh man, Nick, I'm so excited for this video. I'm so excited for this video. We talked about doing this. This is actually a fan request. People talked about it. You guys got to do it. You got to do it. So you already read the thumbnail. You know what you're in for. This is our mid-season review, all right, on the IPL, where CFA was right and where CFA was wrong. Now, to be fair, in years past, we were a lot more right than we were this year. But we weren't the only ones. Okay, let me just keep throwing other people under the bus. Harsha Bhogle and all those other experts that didn't see Gujarat Titans and SRH dominating this season. But Nick, honestly, I want to ask how you're doing, and that's where I want to start. Surprises for you this season, my man.
Surprises for me, obviously, the biggest one, because you convinced me about two things. That LSG did really good in the auction, and Gujarat Titans did horrible in the auction. And I'm not going to just blame it all on you, but I was completely swayed, and I'm kind of mad at myself for being so convinced. But even on paper, I didn't think the Titans were going to be that strong. Now, you weren't too wrong about LSG. They're in that top four. So that didn't surprise me because we talked about them a lot. But the Titans have absolutely shocked me. I made a video a few weeks ago about how they remind me of the 2008 Royals. At that point, they were undefeated. And I said in that video, let's wait to see what happens when they get punched in the mouth, when they lose a match, how they bounce back. Because 2008 Royals, they bounced back nicely and won multiple games in a row. So far, that's what the Titans are doing right here. They built their team on superstar bowlers, very, very mid to high range, middle end bowlers, if you will, after the superstars. And then a few proven young guys, batting, got themselves a captain that we thought was questionable because we weren't sure where his health was. And they went with a lot of other guys they kind of leaned on. And with the exception of Matthew Wade, who hasn't shown up yet, and they're still winning, right? They have been super impressive. Their formula has worked quite nicely. And you've got to be super excited about that, Gabe, because you love the bowling. And I know they're able to score some runs, don't get me wrong, but you can't tell me that they're not riding the coattails of the bowling to set up whatever it is, whether they're chasing or defending. This team has really, really impressed me.
No, listen. There's nothing else to add there. Honestly, Gujarat Titans, they were, myself and a lot of other people included, did not. Here's the thing, Nick. When you think about the Gujarat Titans, the biggest problem was that they took chances on a lot of guys that were quote unquote bounce back players, right? They took chances on guys that some people were already down on, including myself. And I gotta say, Gujarat Titans, to me, I love the bowling for sure, no question. But what I love, man, is seeing the resurgence, okay, of one Hardik Pandya, because you and I have been killing this guy, absolutely killing him.
Maybe more you than I. Maybe you more than I.
I've been killing this guy for the last 2 years because everybody keeps telling me about how great he was and he was trash with Mumbai. But that's what an injury will do to you. And it looks like it took that long for him to get back. But Nick, he is one of the best, if not the best player in fantasy. He's definitely the best all-rounder in fantasy this year in the IPL. And he is an absolute savage. I also like his captaincy, man. He's made some gutsy calls this year where I'm like, what? And he'll go into it. Like, I remember there was the one game where he had nobody left. No one left. And he threw him in the 19th. I forget who it was. He threw in the 19th, where if he does not get those wickets, you're done, cousin. You're done. Because you're like throwing I think it was like a part-timer or all-rounder. It's not really a really good bowler. And it paid off. I mean, he is very gutsy. Hats off to Hardik Pandya. That was one of the biggest things. I was wrong. So I want to give that love to Hardik Pandya. You talked about all the others, so I don't want to go ahead and beat that horse over the head. All right. Now, as far as another surprise for me, Nick, SRH, I am shocked. I
was just looking at it. Sorry to interrupt. They have less runs scored than they've given up. Do you understand that? They've scored less runs than they've given up, and they've won 5 in a row, baby.
That's insane. They've won 5 in a row. the hottest team by far in the league right now, and it's crazy because they dropped their first two games, and everybody killed them like they did coming out of auction. Oh, this team is trash. Oh, SRH doing SRH things. I was one of those, but I wasn't the only one. There are a lot of professional pundits out there saying, "What are they doing? You get rid of David Warner, you get rid of Johnny Bairstow, you get rid of who else did they get rid of? Nick, I mean, the list goes on and on of guys that Rashid Khan was with them. And what are you doing? What are you doing?
Crazy.
And they said, we know what we're doing. We've won one before. Shut your mouth, young fella. And that's what I had to do, Nick, is shut my mouth because, wow, the bowling has carried this team. To your point, they've actually given up more runs than they scored. So they're not barn burners with the bat by any stretch of the imagination. But you don't need to be when your bowling is that good. Nick, I'm telling you, man, it's the bowling. The Malik with his pace is absolutely.
Malik's been a revelation.
Malik, I think, needs to be on the international team. Okay, the guy they paid all the money for, actually, Nicholas Perron, really hasn't had those big games to carry him. It's been Abhishek Sharma, it's been Rahul Tripathi, other guys. To your point, they don't score a lot, but it's the bowling. Marco Jansen, the South African, give me those wickets. Yum 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 yum. Delicioso.
So tall.
Oh man!
Can I just add something about their run differential? Okay, and I really think I'm understanding this correctly. It's got 4 and then against. 4 is what they've done, against is what they've done to other teams, right? And what other teams have scored against them. Now, I said they scored less runs than they've given up, which is true. They've scored the fewest runs in the entire league. But you know what? They've also given up the fewest runs in the entire league. So I'm sitting here bragging about the Titans and their bowling. SRH is even better. SRH has taken the most wickets in the league. They've also given up the fewest runs. The only team to still be in the 1,000 area as far as runs. And guess what? When they beat the Titans, they took away 7 of their wickets to the 2 that the Titans took. They out-bowled the bowling geniuses, SRH. And I can't believe I'm saying this. They could be for real because of that bowling attack, and they lost Rashid Khan. You lose Rashid Khan. Now, your take about Malik. Most people are going to say, calm down there. Calm down. You might have something there. Can you imagine a more seasoned, a more experienced, eventually, Malik, Bumrah, Shami? Oh, no. Nick, my mouth is watering.
The guy, I was watching the game the other day. He bowled 3 balls consecutively, 147, 149, and then 151. Hold that, cousin. That's gas.
He's got to be on the T20 squad, right? At least on the squad going to Australia, right? For World Cup?
I'm thinking on those flat pitches, he better be. But you got the Yorker specialist, not that Ahan. I mean, this team's bowling is so strong. Of course, the captain, Kane Williamson. Again, they haven't really done a lot with the sticks. Abhishek Sharma, Rotapati's really been carrying them. But it's been Bhuvi. You know what? Washington Sundar, who unfortunately got hurt. Those are the guys carrying this team. And once again, this season where I was wrong. SRH, top of the points table. Hats off to you, my friend. Chasing the other team that I didn't believe in, Good Thirst Titans. I'm shocked. So we talked about where we were wrong, Nick. Let's talk about the top of the points table where we were right. Because I believe you were the very first person that said, and then I rode your coattails about this next team. So let's talk about that.
Absolutely. So the only team that I had, actually I had the Titans, I had the Giants too. So at midway point, I had the Giants and the Royals. I had them going to the playoffs from day one. I had CSK. Was wrong with that. The Rajasthan Royals, for crying out loud. I was right about that. I thought they had a fantastic auction. I still think they have a really, really good chance of I got them winning the entire thing, for crying out loud. I still think they have a really, really good chance to still get there. Even at this point, I have not fallen off that bandwagon. This team has made such a quick turnaround, right? Sanju Samson, even though he's not always a top run scorer, even when he gets in there, I feel like his captaincy has really improved this year. I feel like there's a different, like when you get a bunch of different guys, a bunch of different stars, and you got to imagine some of them might have some egos. You've got to be able to manage that, right? With the coaching staff and right now and whatnot. And they've been able to do that. But let's not forget about, the big, what's that phrase? The big whatever in the room. I can't think of that right now.
The elephant in the room
because he scored an elephant's worth size of runs this season so far. This guy has lost his mind. And it wasn't for KL Raul, who also has 2 centuries against my Mumbai Indians. Josh Butler would be in a league of his own, and he still is in that league of his own. This guy is going nuts, and you have him as an opener. You don't need Sanju Samson to go off every single game. He is leading this team into the promised land, but it's not just Josh Butler. It's not just a one-trick pony. You've got the bowling on the other side as well to really complement and really take care of business. A Trent Bolt has been rejuvenated from what happened last year with the Rajasthan Royals, and it's been very, very impressive.
Nick, I mean, I like them as well. I thought they'd get into the playoff spot. Rajasthan, you were right about that. You convinced me to put them into the playoff mix in the top 4. So I'm going to go ahead and, there's enough said. There's nothing else to be said. Next team up that we want to talk about, of course, LSG. We talked about it. And it's crazy because both Pandya brothers that did not play well are now both captains or not. Actually, they both are captains, aren't they?
No, Krunal Pandya is not a captain.
Krunal Pandya is not a captain, right? But Krunal, obviously, also with LSG, and LSG has a deep team. I really like them. I thought they did the best at the draft, and at 5-3, they have a chance to not just get into the playoffs, but continue to secure one of those top spots. I still believe in a team. I like the cut of their jib, as they say, Nick. And you know what? It's because of all the good players they have, but it's about the leadership. You've got several captains on this team, and what I mean by that is you got Jason Holder, who honestly, bro, Jason Holder is the captain of his team in the CPL, captain of the West Indies. You got a lot of experience there. You got Quinton de Kock, a lot of experience there. KL Raul, who's been a captain, a lot of experience there. Those guys are 3 very experienced guys. In my opinion, Jason Holder probably the second best all-rounder in the world behind Jadeja. Well, right now, currently the first, because Jadeja's falling off a little bit. But Deepak Huda, the youngster, Anush Boundy. I like this kid. I don't know where he came out of, Nick. I still like this team, and I think they have an opportunity to get some things right. I think that their only issue is Marcus Stoinis was not here the first few games, right, Nick? And then since they brought him back in, it's almost like they're struggling where they're going to fit him in, because that's one of their quote-unquote retentions. But I feel like their team looked better without Marcus Stoinis, if that makes sense. You know what I'm saying? But they've got the Def Bowling and Avish Khan. Again, Chimera. I like this team, and I think that they have the opportunity. If Bishnoi can take a little bit more wickets, I've been a little disappointed that he hasn't taken as many wickets. But with these 2 scores up front, I think they'll be okay. Nick, now let's move on to, and we'll just kind of lump them in together. All right, let's look at the middle of this. What surprises you about the middle of this points table? Any team in particular you want to talk about there, my friend?
Let's talk about any other surprises there in the middle. I'm not surprised that Punjab's there. I'm a little surprised that one team's there, but I'm going to focus on RCB because I did not have them go into the playoffs. I did not feel good about the auction. The sky was falling, and it was falling right over my Charlie Brown rain clown head. But they have been very impressive. Now, the last match, it's already been erased from the memory book, so I'm not even sure what happened in that match. But before that, they were 5-2. They have a middle order. They have finishers. They have better bowling. They have Hasaranga, who's doing really good for the most part. They got Hazelwood back in the side, all that kind of stuff. Really, really impressed. Really, really surprised. And they have a chance to make some noise, but they've got to stop with those stinkers and that nonsense, because that's not going to get them anywhere. But I have been very impressed and very happy about RCB.
Nick, I'll tell you what I'm not happy about. Delhi Capitals. I picked them, I believe, to win it all. I can't remember. I'm pretty sure.
Win it all, baby.
This team has been into the finals 2 years in a row. They brought back a lot of the same players. I cannot put my finger on it.
Well, they weren't in the finals last year, but they got to the semifinals. Remember?
They got to the semifinals. Right. But, Nick, it's been bad, bro. It's been bad. And I get it. David Warner didn't play the first 2 games, but Prithvi Shaw has been Prithvi Shaw. I like to say the guy's not a hot pocket, but he's about, what would you say, 5-and-fly guy? He's going to give you the power play, if that, but he ain't gunning him down to the death, cousin. He does not, as an opener, he ain't going to be out there that long. It just is what it is, all right? And Axar Patel, I thought would step up in the loss of Ashwin. He's not there.
Man.
Out of has been okay. Mitchell Marsh, he is missing the first 3 games, comes in, immediately gets hurt. I mean, what else is new? Mitchell Marsh, Nick, I'm worried about this team because I look and I say, listen, they are also very, very light. When I tell you they're very light, they're very light. They do not have the depth in the batting that they had last year. Kuldeep Yadav has bowled well. For the Mustafar has bowled well. I can't say the bowling's really been an issue. It's more the bats, Nick. And it's like Pant, has to come in at 4 sometimes because they're not as deep as they used to be. Last year, they were super deep. This year, they're not. And I'll be honest, I'm not sure if they're going to make the playoffs. I'm super concerned about this team. DC has let me down, possibly the biggest disappointment for me so far. Nick, anything else here in the middle?
Well, I just want to say I don't think Prithvi Shaw is a problem. He's number 7 as far as orange cap goes. He has the highest strike rate of the top 10 guys. It's just, I see what you're saying, because I make fun of it all the time. It's just if he can last a little bit longer, because he can put together Josh Butler, KRL type innings, right?
He should be.
But he's putting up consistent runs, and I would take that. We've always said that. If you're going to go out, lose your wicket as an opener, put a bunch of runs on the board, and then get out of there if you're not going to do anything else, right?
Right.
I have nothing else to add because, I mean, you're absolutely right. Again, Punjab, I'm not trying to hate on Punjab. I'm really not. But they still have a chance to make the playoffs. Absolutely. They're only 2 points behind. But I just haven't been too impressed. And today they beat CSK, which I always appreciate that.
Come on. And
what? Go ahead.
Just a quick thought on KKR. I mean, for Pete's sakes, Nick, for Pete's sakes, it's so hard for these guys to figure out the opening partnership. It drives me crazy. Since I've been watching the IPL.
Wasting talent.
It's the same thing with this team. For Pete's sakes, it just drives me crazy. Dude, your boy, Venkatesh Iyer is not. They put him to open. They gave him several chances. They finally jettisoned him out of there. Now we're back to the experiment of every other game putting somebody else in the opening partnership. And you need a cohesion. All right, you need consistency, which I'm gonna talk about that later. You need to know who's gonna be on the other strike with you, and that'll make you feel comfortable as a batsman. And the KKR hasn't had that for 2 seasons. They tried Rahane, failed. Aaron Finch actually was one of the better openers. Aaron Finch. Nick, they got me begging for Aaron Finch as an opener.
Ooh.
That's how bad it is. Enough said.
Rough.
Enough said. The middle order always does the same thing. Russell's still the muscle, okay? Been bowling beautifully, doing what we had to do. Shreyas Iyer been doing fine. The middle order's always good. Your Hamburglar loves taking those wickets, but they just don't understand that you need opening batsmen to face that new ball, and they do not continue to pick up to pick the right opening batsman. That's all I got to say about that. Nick, now it's time. Let's get to the bottom feeders.
Judgment Day. Listen,
a little bit in my mouth, a little bit.
Mumbai, they're so bad. They still have not won a match yet. In 8 matches, they are winless. I mean, if you're gonna do something wrong, you might as well do it really, really wrong. But this team is so bad. They're in the middle of the pack of runs scored. They really are. They're but they're also the second third as far as most wickets lost. They're batsmen. And we're talking about the opening partnership as well. The opening partnership, it's the worst opening partnership without looking at all the stats in the IPL for me easily. Rohit Sharma finally put up 30 plus the other day. But what did Ishan Kishan do? Nothing, right? The opening partnership is atrocious. There was one match where they both scored like in the 20s, and we were super excited about it as fans. They both lost their wicket like in the power play or something like that. This opening partnership cannot be consistent, cannot stick around long enough. They're putting too much pressure, too much. They're relying on Sky and Tilak Varma, who have been able to answer the call more times than not, but they're not going to answer the call always. This team's bowling is atrocious. They're absolutely atrocious. They give up the most runs in the entire league, 1,400 runs. And they have one in Bumrah, who's in the top 20 economy rate. That means the other bowlers are garbage. Sams has given up 1 million runs. He's looked better the last 2 matches. So that was a good move by the captain. Sit him and then bring him back, right? Unicat. I mean, it's same result, different year. right?
Who the cat, you mean?
Yeah.
Who the cat?
They cannot figure it out. The bowling is absolutely atrocious. It doesn't matter what score they put up, they're not going to be able to defend it. And it doesn't matter what what runs they allow, they can't chase it. Literally, they haven't been able to do either of those this entire season. It's so bad. It's so ugly. This team, the players in this team deserve more. Pollard has basically been absent for most of the season. It's just so aggravating. And I don't know how many more times I could talk about it, but it's really, really sad. Really rough.
Nicholas, I'm going to make this quick for CSK fans. We are who they thought they were. I said it at the auction as I'm erasing names off my board. Josh Hazelwood gone. Faf du Plessis gone. All right, Lord Decor gone, and everybody's like, it's okay. It's okay. Then the other guys I wanted them to bring in, Krishna gone. They don't have the bowling. They don't.
Gay would take a Gotham right now.
Oh my gosh, we take a Gotham right now. It's so bad. It's all darkness. And you know what? Faf du Plessis may be the biggest loss, Nikki. I'll tell you why. Because I believe it was him that helped mentor a young Ruturaj Gaikwad. He has not looked like the same guy this year. And again, that inconsistency at the top. Gaikwad has had the bat with Robin Uthappa. He's had the bat with, who else has opened up over there? It was Uthappa. Oh, Devin Conway. It's just
Devin Conway, one game.
Yeah. The team is done. I don't want to hear it. You know what? Crick Buzz lied to me. Harsha Bogley lied to me. CSK saved the auction on the second day. No, they didn't. No, they didn't. This is done.
History lied to you.
Done. All right, this is done and dusted. Over. They're not making the playoffs at 2-8. Cook them. Stick a fork in them. They're done. All right, Nick. Let's just transition right now. Give me your predictions for the second half. Who from this middle, because we both know the bottom feeders are going to be battling for the wooden spoon, CSK and Mumbai. Who from this middle do you think can push their way in the top, and who do you think at the top can stay at the top?
Okay, so who do I think? Who do I think from the middle that can make the top four? Is that what you're asking me?
Yep. Let's just make those predictions right now. From the
I'm not going to.
Who can get back in the top?
I know how it's going to sound. I really do, but I don't trust the Kings, the Capitals, or the Knight Riders, so I'm going to say RCB. I know that's lame. I know I'm a homer. Go ahead and boo me if you want. I don't care. I honestly think of those four teams, they've been the most consistent, not the last game, and they have the best bowlers and batters compilation, if you will. Right. I don't trust the other teams. KKR has the talent. They're oozing with talent, but they are so inconsistent, and I'm sorry. I got to blame Shreyas Iyer for that one, and it kills me to do that because I love Shreyas Iyer.
So who are you bouncing out the top four then? Is it Gutaraj, SRH? I know you love Rajasthan.
I would never talk bad about SRH ever again. I'm going to have to bounce out the Giants, right? I still think they have a chance. I still don't think they've played their best cricket as far as the stretch goes. But I think they get bounced out, and I think RCB, if a team, I wouldn't be surprised if these four teams make it to the end, and I hate that kind of prediction because that's so lazy, but that's how I honestly feel.
You are absolutely correct. RCB will make it because they got Josh Hazelwood. They got that stinker out of there. They always have that stinker.
Oh, my gosh.
Foley hasn't played well at all yet this season. At some point, he will. I think they're going to be the ones to go in. And to be honest, and maybe you're going to call me a hater. Everyone out there is going to call me a hater. I just don't see SRH holding on to their spot. I know they're 5-2 right now. They won 5 in a row, but at some point you gotta put up runs. And Williamson hasn't done it, so I think they're the ones that get bounced. I still like LSG. I like Gutaraj, and I think you're right. Rajasthan is pretty much going to run away with this. Even though Gutaraj is 6-1, I think Rajasthan has more talent.
Yeah, I hear you, but Gutaraj is at number 1, and they still haven't played their 8th match yet. That's what's insane. When they play their 8th match, they could possibly be 4 points ahead of everyone else unless SRH wins their 8th match as well. Let us know what you think about our predictions, about our comments, about our words. Please don't forget to like and subscribe. Thank you so much for checking this video out, and until next time.
That's 6 runs.